Everyone in the area was stunned by the unexpected incident in which a horse stepped on a coffin, causing the lid to break apart and reveal a crying sound. This incident highlights the remarkable and frequently unappreciated qualities of animals. Humans often fail to recognize animals' extraordinary capacity to develop close relationships with us. One of the most remarkable aspects of animals is their enhanced capacity for intuition. They can smell and feel things we might overlook because they are tuned into their surroundings, nature, and people. Some animals can sense a person's aura and know when they have passed away. Indeed, the relationship between animal and people is extraordinary and unlike any other. Animal lovers and those who have dealt with animals may witness the emotional bond between them. Animals frequently play a significant role in a person's household, inspiring feelings of love and compassion that are hard to put into words. Salim, a 65-year-old farmer in a small town in Morocco, grew up surrounded by animals. His parents were avid animal lovers, and Salim learned to earn and respect an animal's trust from a young age. Of all animals, horses were undoubtedly his favorite. Salim would get up earlier than anybody else in the house to care for the horses in his stables. He would carefully buff their manes and coats and feed them, getting enthusiastic neighs from his horse buddies. The horses were obviously as devoted to Salim as he was to them. As Salim grew older, he inherited his family's farm and traditions, including their love for animals. Salim went above and beyond to care for all his animals, especially the so-called broken ones that no one else seemed to want. He believed every animal deserves love and care, regardless of physical or emotional state. All kinds of animals found refuge on Salim's farm, but the horses had a special place in his heart. His collection of horses were terrific, and he had saved countless farm animals considered unfit for the market. His farm had so many horses that it appeared to be a beautiful sea of shiny coats when they were out in the open. Salim was utterly mesmerized by these magnificent creatures and sensed a hidden beauty in everything they did. When Salim was 48 years old, he had a chance encounter with an exceptional horse. While selling horse feed, he overheard one of his customers discussing the possibility of putting down a young foal. Upon hearing this, Salim immediately asked the customer about the situation with the foal and its mother. The customer explained that the foal's mother was very sick and likely passed her illness on to her offspring. Sadly, the mother horse had died within an hour of giving birth, leaving the foal to fend for itself. The foal was so weak and sickly that it could barely see, and the buyer suspected it would not survive much longer. The buyer was also struggling to care for the foal and was eager to remove it. However, Salim's heart went out for the poor creature and asked to see it for himself. The young horse was a pitiful sight, lying on a heap of hay, looking weak and helpless. But even in its weakened state, it managed to lift its head as Salim approached. Salim knew he had to do something to save the horse's life. He offered to buy it. "I will take the foal of your hands, and I'll take care of it." Salim was deeply disturbed by how the owners treated the young horse, who hadn't even been given a chance to survive. It was disheartening to see that they were already considering putting it down. He immediately asked to purchase the foal, surprising the other farm owner, who thought it was a lost cause. The other farm owner looked at Salim like he had suddenly grown second-hand. They asked why he would do that. "Don't you see how pathetic and weak it seems?" the owner asked. He warned that there is nothing you can do with this, and it likely won't last a month. Salim was determined to give the horse a fighting chance. Eventually, the owner agreed he didn't put much of a fight. Anyway, he warned that Salim had not better return asking for his money back when the young horse eventually died. Salim loaded the horse onto his truck and took it to his farm on the outskirts of a town, with a heavy heart but determined to do everything in his power to save the young horse. After seeing the condition of the young horse, Salim immediately called a veterinarian for help. Despite his experience caring for horses, he knew this one needed medical attention. The vet advised him to bring the horse to his clinic, which was located several miles outside of town. Salim didn't hesitate and loaded the horse into his truck, determined to give it a chance at survival. Upon arrival at the vet center, the vet examined the horse and ran some tests. The prognosis was not good. The horse was unlikely to survive to adulthood, and its chances of living beyond a few months were slim. However, Salim was determined to give the horse the best care possible, no matter how short its life may be. He promised to be patient and attentive, and worked hard to make the horse as comfortable and happy as possible. Salim named the horse Kala, despite the veterinarian's prognosis that it would take a miracle for Kala to live more than a year or two. Kala survived and thrived. In fact, after just 5 years, Kala had grown into a stunning, majestic steed, strong, fast, energetic, and super playful. Salim had become so attached to Kala that the farm's owner's family and farm help joked that the horse probably thought Salim was his real dad. Kala followed Salim everywhere and stared at him with love in his eyes. Salim liked to joke that he had cared for Kala so hard that the horse had no choice but to stay alive and healthy. However, a few years later, Salim became very sick and could no longer attend to the animals on the farm as well as before. His wife and kids took up the job, while he supervised and did what little he could. Of course, Kala was not like the rest of the animals on farm. Kala stood out among the other animals on the farm, with his intelligent eyes and beautiful soul. He had a special bond with Salim and would often trot to the front porch in the evening to spend time with him. They even started spending time together in the morning and evenings. Tragically, Salim suffered a heart attack while in his garden, and despite the family's quick response, they could not save him in their small town, as Salim lay unresponsive in bed. His family realized he had passed away. As per their religious customs, the family performed burial rites for Salim. They carefully washed his body, dressed him in an appropriate funeral clothes, and placed him in a wooden coffin to carry to his farm's burial site. While en route to the site, the mourners were startled by the sound of Kala's name being called out in the distance. The farm hands had tried to secure him in a stable, but the powerful horse had broken down the doors and was now charging towards the funeral procession. Salim was a well-loved man, and many people were at the burial site with tears in their eyes. At the sight of the horse charging towards them, the mourners quickly dispersed, moving away from the coffin and the grave. When Kala got to the coffin, he started aggressively stepping on it, although they knew the horse wasn't trying to be sinister. It was sad about Salim's passing. They also knew it was hard to stop it. When they could use the catch rope around Kala, the horse kicked off the coffin's lid. It stomped, stepping on it, and it started sniffing it instead. Everyone was stunned by what's going on. After a few moments of silence, crying could be heard inside of the coffin. Salim's voice could be heard as he exclaimed, and then fell silent. This caused everyone to scream in fear and run away. Only Salim's family and few other close friends remained, staring in shock as Salim explained that he had almost been buried alive. Despite their initial fear, Salim's family and friends were crying at the thought that he had narrowly avoided being buried alive. They believed it to be a miracle, and that Kala had somehow known that the owner was still alive. However, a doctor informed of the situation said that Salim most likely experienced cataplexy. This medical condition can mimic death, with a loss of consciousness, vital signs, and body rigidity. While rare, cases like this have happened before. Nevertheless, the incredible bond between Kala and Salim allowed the horse to detect that its owner was still alive and prevented the tragic outcome of being buried alive. Who would have thought that the weak, sickly foe from those years ago would be the one to save him from his sad ending? How did this beautiful story about a significant relationship between a horse and its owner make you feel? Thank you for watching this incredible story about Kala and Salim. Remember to like and subscribe for more inspiring content like this.